Professor Constance Steinkuehler, a researcher at the University of Wisconsin's School of Education, studies the relationship between video games and learning.
I started off just simply trying to document and analyze what is happening in kids' media spaces. I was an avid gamer, probably 20 to 30 hours a week, and even now I still play MMOs about 10 hours a week. If you're going to study games, you got to play them, right?
With so many young people spending a weekly average of 17 hours playing online games, the natural question becomes how to make online games more effective teaching tools.
There's this massive rise of educational games that actually are based on really solid forms of learning through engagement and are actually fabulous games. Most educational games historically are not very good educationally, and they're certainly not very good games. It's exciting, and I think it's actually I think we have an actually new generation of educational games coming out. So the design challenge that people are finally starting to meet is how do you take a world like science and make it that engaging?
Professor Steinkuehler believes that online gaming is creating some very real and positive ways for the younger generation to interact.
They're hanging out in virtual worlds. They are cultures in which, especially for teenagers, being smart is being cool. There's radical diversity in there, and the thing that brings you together is the gameplay itself. So you end up socializing with people who are radically different than you are. It's significant labor across multiple disciplines: science, mathematics, literacy in particular, digital media literacy, things like social engagement and social collaboration. Games are a way, in my mind, to reinvigorate the intellectual life of American youth culture, and I think they're deeply powerful for that.
In 2003, Steinkuehler helped to found the Games, Learning and Society Center to explore the intersection of gaming and education.
So GLS, the Games, Learning and Society Center, we started in about 2003, 2004. It started off as an informal group that was all interested in studying games, game culture, and really interested in sort of play, youth culture, and games as a way to get to all those topics. There is such incredible interest coming, especially from young scholars, about games and the potential of games to actually change kids' lives. So if we were to start thinking about how games play a role in ameliorating things like literacy problems, particularly for boys or other non-readers, I think that at that point you're talking about a really powerful form of intervention. There has been such a groundswell of support for this that between grants and everything else, we now have about maybe 30 doctoral students who all work. We have 4 core faculty, but probably another dozen that are deeply involved with the center.
Another of her projects, an after-school online games lab, revealed a promising approach with a traditionally struggling demographic.
If there is one place that games have incredible potential in my mind, it is in the space that is actually around reading and literacy, especially for boys in teenage years. What happens if you try to create a space that's about games, but that also you can seed or incubate academic performance around it? It was wildly effective, shockingly so. We had parents lining up their kids in order to participate, but we did this for 2 years and the effects were pretty powerful.
Online gaming and virtual environments are becoming more and more influential, and it seems likely that the idea of the traditional classroom will need to evolve.
I think that what we call schooling now, I hope that if I have any effect, it will help sort of dismantle that system and sort of rewrite what it should look like.